What's going on? It's the ghost back in the building. Had a second. I'm gonna do this. I think I'll be able to cut it up. What? Anyway, wanted to hit you with another video. This one is basically just telling you how I grab my images out of game before they're actually available most of the time. If you're probably partnered or something like that, you might have access to these images of robots or weapons before they come out. But if you don't, what you can do is you can actually get them out of the game. Now, I use Photoshop. They may have one that's actually on the phone. I know they have some type of Photoshop on the phone, but I don't know to the extent of everything you can do. Just like if you have a free version, you might pay for the other version. But the main tools I'm going to use in Photoshop, I'm going to show you how I actually cut out this actual image, and you can go look at this image I already created and put it on I think I did it for a live stream, and then I did it for after the live stream, the actual image for after the live stream. So I'm just going to cover that. So this was the Falcon that came out, and the weapon on top of it, I forgot what it was called. It was a laser weapon. Basically, it was a giant gecko. But the thing about the Falcon when it first came out, when you jump, the two weapons on the back would actually come in front, and actually you could fire them. But to me, they need to extend it, which they did the last server that came out. They actually extended the time frame in which they could actually hold. But this test server, we're actually doing King of the Hill. King of the Hill is cool. Problem is the players are making it bad because players are actually dropping robots to get to the nearest beacon as quick as they can, and it's just ruining that whole mode. So I don't know if they're going to be able to fix it or not. I jumped in there for a second, but we'll see. And then they cut out most of the other weapons. You could only use the ballast, I think that's what it's called. It's basically a long-range tread, but a medium version of it. And that was about it. You had the Redeemer, but that's already in game. So anyway, let's get to it. So like I said, I'm in Photoshop, and I have a video of me actually already doing this, but I wanted to cover a couple of things in case you actually wanted to do this, right? So let me change this real quick. Beautiful people, beautiful. All right, here we are. So you see my mouse now, and what we're going to focus on, the main things I'm going to focus on in this is, I always just do a new copy of whatever it is. So I just duplicate this layer, hit OK, and Photoshop, you work in layers, so I won't really go into all that. And this first one has a lock on it. You can't do a lot to it. So we're just going to hit the eye and make it disappear. So if I made this disappear, you wouldn't see it. So this is the layer that we're going to work on. And then you basically want to zoom into what you want to attack first. So for me, I may go to the leg or something like that. Get in as close as you can. And then I'm just going to talk about this tool here. This is the pen tool. And when I first started playing Photoshop, I never used the pen tool. I used to go up here to this little guy here. I don't even know what it's called, but I used to use this, and it worked. It served its purpose. I would do a lot, but as you can see, I have to really, you have to really kind of stay close, especially for like curves and things like that. But it works. It works nice. But I think it's called a Marquee Tool. But the tool you really want to use is the pen tool. And I'm just going to go over Windows. On Mac, it'll be almost the same, but just slightly different button pushes for the short keys. So as you can see, it has a little X. And all I really want to do is go to the slight inside of this. So I'm just going to zoom in so you can see. We're just going to zoom in. And you'll start getting this kind of grid type look. That's because you're zooming into the pixels very closely. And then, so there's a couple of things you want to use if you're on a PC. You want to know the H tool, which is the hand. Okay, so I can hit the H tool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hit the pen. And while I'm on the pen, I'm going to hit H. And you can see this box. Well, wherever that box is, if I let it go, it's going to zoom into that point. Okay, so if you want to move around, you go to the hand tool. And you click, and I'm basically holding down my left mouse, okay? So it's hit H, then click your left mouse, and then it'll zoom out, and wherever you move this square to is where it's going to zoom in next, okay? And then you let go, and you'll zoom into that place, okay? Then you go ahead and hit P for the pen tool, okay? And you will see my pen pops up. And those are the biggest ones, and then the last one will be this guy here. I want to say this is probably the Marquee Tool. Yeah, that's the Marquee Tool. So this guy, was a lasso. Okay. So you're going to use this Marquee Tool here, and mainly the pen and the hand, and then your zoom. Okay, and Z, you would hit Z as in zebra. You would hit that, you see it changes, and then you want to go to opposite. You would just hit the Alt key, and it'll zoom out. You let go of the Alt key, you click, it's going to zoom in, and you can see it went to a plus, minus, like that, and go forward. Okay, so those are the main things you want to look at. And then the last one will be over here in this paths. You'll see paths. And what's going to happen is we create a path. It's going to show up in here. You just want to know which path you're on, because you can, once I'm done, I'm going to show you the video. So let me go ahead and pull the video over, and I'm going to let that play so you can kind of see what I went through to actually cut this out. And the question you might ask yourself is, why would I even need to do this? Like, I can go online and find this. Well, this robot and weapon setup had just came out that same morning. The test server opened up at 4 a.m. my time, and there was no other data about this robot online. So the only way you were going to get it you would have to cut it out the game. So I just go into the hangar, and the reason I do this is because if I cut it out of the hangar, then I can place it wherever I want, okay? So you can see me going through, and you can be as detailed as you want. So I'm getting in close so I can go a little bit faster, because I don't want to spend the amount of time it might take if I want to cut this out precisely, because I would need to use this in a thumbnail for my live stream, right? So if I'm going live, I get on a server, I want to go live at like 5, or, let's say I want to go live at 5 o'clock, okay? I need to be done with this. I need to have this cut out, to have it on the background. I need to have the background and everything completed and ready to put onto my live stream background, so that when I go live, I already have this item in there. So whenever you see me posting and I have an actual weapon or a robot and it just came out, I've done this, okay? Because I don't have any way to get the items beforehand, okay? So if you want to do that, you have a YouTube channel, and to me, this actually gives you more of a professional look. But on top of that, it allows, when people see it, they might have saw the robot in the game or saw it on somebody else's channel, and as soon as they see your image, they want to click on it because it's brand new, okay? And a quick tip about your YouTube: this is for gaming. I don't know about anything else, but I know about gaming. When I first started, I was playing Need for Speed World, and I didn't think about it until I was watching Lee Fighter's videos. You can check him out; he's got some awesome videos. But I forgot about, or never thought about, the fact that the reason people were coming to my channel a lot was because I would actually do reviews on the new vehicles that came in the game. So most people want to know about the new things in the game. Okay, they do want to know how to work on, how do I move, how do I do this and that with certain robots that are already in there. But their big focus is always going to go to the new stuff for a short amount of time. And that's a window for you to use to get exposure to your channel. Because if you get it out there, say you do this, get this squared away, and you put it out there and it's 5 in the morning, you get yours out 6 in the morning. Well, you have all day, the rest of the day, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then the rest of that week, depending on how much interest was devoted to that item by players and the community, to go find it. And so now you're actually exposing your channel to people or potential subscribers that you may not have been able to basically expose yourself to. So I'm just pop this back real quick, and I'm going to slow it down in just a second, because as you can see, I'm actually cutting it out around this corner. And what I did was, remember I told you about the path? So currently I'm creating a path, okay? And the path is wherever these lines are actually connecting. And then when you get all the way back around and you connect them, you'll see a little circle. Once you do that last connection, everything will highlight, okay? And that's where all right, so here we are. You see it. I'm going to slow this down real quick. I had it sped up. So as soon as I move over, you're going to see that little circle show up. When you see a circle like that, that means you're about to connect this entire path around whatever you cut now, okay? And so that will be the path that you're working on. As you can see, my pen tool is still highlighted. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit play. Okay, boom. Now I have the entire thing connected, okay? Now what I'm going to do is go in and zoom in for areas that I need to cut out of the path that I already created. So this is the one path I have. And then as you see, we're going to zoom into some spots. Okay. And I'm looking for areas on here that I need to cut out. Okay. So this space here, I believe there's a space here that I may need to cut out. Let's see. Move this back regular. All right. Okay. So what I did before I did anything else was I'm going to do the make selection. So the overall, so whatever I cut out at this point, I'm going to go ahead and cut it out of the entire picture. So the picture you saw at the beginning, which was this guy here, let's pull him up. Yeah, little dude. Oh, you know what? I think I closed him. Okay, that was genius. right. Anyway, we'll get that edited in here if I have to. Anyway, so you'll see make a selection. Okay, once I do make a selection, it says new selection up here. I'm gonna hit OK. Okay, and then you see these little, looks like little black and white lines around. That is the path basically being active. So when you do selection, it selects the entire, everything you cut out, it's gonna select, okay? And then I'm gonna go down here and create a new layer, okay? And what I'm gonna do is cut it out and then paste it. I believe I'm gonna paste it special, which means it's gonna paste it right back where it's at. So right now, this is a new layer. As you can see, there's nothing in the background. And then when I go to cut this guy, which I already did, I did Control C, okay, and then I did Control V on the new level. So Control C to actually cut it, and then when I clicked onto the layer 1, Control V, and it pasted it on that new layer, okay? Now, we're going to move forward. I'm going to go ahead and make that one, make it hide. I hid it, right? Once I hid it, now I'm going to this layer, and we're about to go in, and I believe I'm about to go cut out some more stuff. Let me put this back to regular speed. Okay, so now we back up, okay? So at this point, we're looking for the areas we need to cut out. As you can see, this is part of the background that we didn't get out. We're looking around, background in here, background in here, background in there, around these little areas. And you don't have to be this detailed, but for me, the whole point of cutting this out, you'll see later. So when I put it on the back of a white background or any kind of background, it looks like I just, I have the actual robot, image of that robot, okay? It might seem kind of 3D or whatever you want to call it. All right, so we're going to keep moving forward. Now I'm going to go ahead. I'm looking around for areas that I may need to cut out so I can clean this up, to the best that I can. And like I said, this doesn't take time, take a whole lot of time. You just got to be a little bit patient, making sure you're going around the different areas. And what I'm going to do, let me jump back real quick. I want to talk about that tool. Okay, so the pen tool, I'm talking about this real quick. When you go to your pen tool, the thing about the pen tool, when I first got it, just didn't make sense to me because I click here, and then it's like, okay, what the heck? And I almost do it without even trying now, okay? It's you know what they say. Once you learn how to do something, you never forget it. And in a sense, that's what happens with the pen tool. Now, I will say when you let go of something like that, you can almost lose it. So I'm not going into all that. And you can see there's a path, this line around here. That's the actual path that is going to follow it. And you barely can see it on the screen. Right here is about where you can see it looks like a piece of hair. Okay, that's how small it is. What I usually do is I just go edit and I just step back. There's probably other ways to do it, but I just do edit, step back. That's the fastest way. And your pen tool is still selected. And what I usually do is hit the Alt key. And as you see, this turns into like, I think that's what Adrian's symbol looks like, right? So you watch Adrian, that's what his symbol looks like. So I'm going to move this back. And then what I'm going to do is grab this guy. And as you can see, this guy, if you move it right to left, look what it does. It actually moves that little thing around, the little piece of hair. And so when you bring it in close, it kind of tightens it. You pull it out, it'll stretch it out. And basically the one at the bottom is like an anchor. So what I'm doing is I'm just putting it to the inside of this, what you say their kneecap, and let it go. And then back on the pen tool, now what I'm going to do is grab this one, hit the Alt key again. So I'm holding the Alt key. When I see it turn, I'm going to put this guy here, let go, and now I have my pen tool, and I can basically click with my left mouse and work from there. And if I don't like that, I can go Control Z, and I can do it here, okay? And you don't always have to do the little pull of it. Like I say, you want to just move quickly around the legs or whatever. Stay on the inside of it, of whatever you're cutting out. You want to stay on the inside. If you are trying to do this for some kind of, somebody's paying you money or whatever, and you're trying to make it professional, you would take a little more time. But I've been cutting out stuff forever. And then once again, if you want to move down, hold the H key. Then you move your hand down so you can so I'm holding down the left mouse while I'm holding the H key. And I moved it down. I'm going to let it go. And then we zoom in. And my pen tool is still selected. And we just go around here. Okay. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just doing it kind of quick so you can see. So every time you see the little white dot show up, I've clicked the mouse at that spot. And I'm basically looking for areas. So right here, when you see how when I pull this up, it kind of makes that arc real quick. And then cool, hit this, hit my Alt key, hit Control Z. Remember what I told you? Hold the Alt key till that turns to a little, basically we'll say an A. And then move this where you want it. Then you keep on rolling. Okay. See, and let's say you mess up. You grab this. I believe you can delete it if you click on it, but delete anchor. And then we still have our pen tool. We click it again. And as you go, you'll see you're just clicking. Now, let's say I wanted to complete this path. So I'm just going to go back and highlight that. I'm going to go back in here. Let me see what my little thing is. Is it there? Okay, cool. It's right there. So I'm just going to go and probably cut off this foot right here. Okay. So I want to complete the path. Usually you have to go back to the main one because you see it turns into a negative and it basically will delete that. So the place to complete it, if I hit the H key, would actually be where I started, which would be right here. Now you see the little circle shows up. If I click it, that completes that path. Okay. Now it intersects with each other, which is it's going to throw it off a little bit. But we'll cut out that leg. Okay. So what I'm going to do is Control Z, and I'm just going to finish up, and I'm just going to cut out the leg. Okay. And this helps. I did this once when I had a robot. I wanted it in pieces, and I basically cut it out. And there may be other methods. So just know the cool thing about when you do this kind of stuff, it's just more about being creative. Okay. Because you may see this and then somebody may have a video. So now we're going to try and get this curved little part here. So I'm going to grab this, push down. I'm going to pull it out and just turn it. You see how I'm turning it? And as I turn it, the line actually follows that. Okay. It kind of curves with that. And you don't have to be perfect, right? You don't have to be perfect. Now, like I said, if you're trying to do this for somebody's purchase, you're doing this for a job or something like that, you may have to be a little more detailed, may have to take a little more time. But, we're doing this. We just want to get this cut out and, clean enough so it looks good for our video that we want to post. And so now I'm going to close this out. So there's the path. Okay. Remember I told you there's a path that you have. So there's a path. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to right click in here and I'm going to say make selection. I'm going to hit OK. When I hit OK, now I'm going to do a new layer. So this little button here, new layer. And there may be a control key for that, but or what you call a shortcut. But you see it's highlighted. So now I'm going to Control C. So I need to be on the layer that I want to cut it from. Control C. And then click on that layer and Control V. Okay, so now even though it looks like it's still on the same layer, it's also on the other one. So we're going to make this go away, and we've cut that out. Okay, and that's really what it comes down to. Once you have it cut out the way you want, if you need to go back and let's say I need to cut out these little areas here. Well, now what I'm going to do is create a new path, which is this here, and then I'm going to start cutting. So I'm going to hold my H key, get myself together. Then I hit my Z key so I can zoom in. Okay, and if it comes up plus, let's say it comes up minus, it's because you have this one selected. So it's going to come to the default. So I click on a negative, it's going to be negative, and if I hit the Alt key, it goes positive. So it's always going to come up with your default setting here, and we hit the Alt key, it's going to switch to the opposite of that, okay? So what we're going to do is hit P for the pen tool, and we're just going to cut it out. Boom, boom, and you might even use this guy here for it. Okay, I forgot what it was called. Lasso. You might even use that. I use that for years playing around. Okay, and I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to zoom in to make sure I actually connected that, okay? Let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, I want to make sure I connected that entire path. Now I'm going to hit P for the pen tool. Make sure your pen's inside of where you selected. Right click, make selection. I'm going to hit OK. And then we're actually going to cut that out, okay? So I'm going to go I'm just going to hit delete. Okay, that deletes it out. Then we'll go ahead and zoom out with this key. So I'm going to go back and zoom out. Okay, and so that will be the foot. And then what you want to do is you want to click on the Marquee Tool and you want to put it right over the area. And when you see this little box show up, so let me zoom in again. When you see those little box show up, that means it's going to give you an option. So click the Marquee Tool, go here. You see this little bitty box hanging off the back of the arrow. You right click, and then you're going to see the option deselect. Once you deselect it, it's there. And then here, and you see you have a second path. Okay, so every time you want to cut out something out of something you already cut, you want to make sure you go to a different path. Otherwise, it will be tied to the same path, even though you're cutting in a different area. Okay, so, and you can still see the path is there. If I cut this, if I close it out, you'll see the path. If I highlight that one, you'll see the path on my screen. Okay, so there's the path that we had. And then when I click this other path, that's the entire. So we're going to zoom out on that. And you can also use this for, say you want to cut out something and just use the outline of it. It's really good for that as well. Okay, So we're going to make that the entire thing. And as you can see, now if I hit the pen tool, I believe I can change the stroke on this. So we're going to go and say, let's see if we can, not that way. Define. Okay, so you can make a custom shape out if you wanted to. You hit OK. And you can just make it big or whatever, but it'll be your custom shape. So this guy up here, I'm going to hit cancel on that. But this guy here, when you select custom shape, we'll hit it and you can do, it will be something like this. If I took the arrow and there's nothing here, so let's just do a new background. Okay, so that's the arrow, and then I have it white here. So if you actually made this guy, you made this, the one that we cut out, if you made that an actual custom shape, then when you drew it, it would always show up like this, but with the color that you add to it, okay? So I just want to touch that real quick, and then let's get back to this video. I think those are the main things, just how you can get everything in there. So let's go ahead and finish this up. And I'll go ahead and speed this up. So at this point, I'm cutting out those areas I told you about. And once you cut those out, that's just going to speed up the process, because you can see I have a new path that I've created. So all of these that I'm cutting out will be in that new path. And so if I was just hit delete, it's going to delete only the items in that new path. Okay, it won't touch or affect the previous path. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and cut these guys out. We're just going to speed it up just a little bit. And you know you got to have some epic music, you know, because we're about to do something epic, right? About to be in a war. But yeah, cut all this stuff out. I'm going to slow it down. I think I'm about to finish up. I think that's the last cutout. Let's see. I think it is. Let's go. All right, so we checked around, checked the feet, check everything, make sure it's good. Now what we want to do is go ahead and make that selection with the pen tool, and then we're going to delete. Just hit the delete key. You see, I actually just hit clear from the menu. Now we're going to go ahead and deselect with the Marquee Tool. Okay, we deselect, make sure I have it. Now I have my entire item cut out once I deselect. Okay, and then we're going to zoom out. Okay, so now you got your robot with your weapons. It's ready to go. Now you got to do is put it on your canvas that you want to use. And that's what's the great thing about cutting things out. You don't have to worry about somebody using the exact same picture. You notice I cut this out of the hanger, so if somebody else has a picture of the hanger, you know, you might have your logo and all that, but your picture will stand out. So I'm going to go ahead and save this guy, and then we're going to go ahead and jump in here and go to my background that I'm using. Oh, my bad. I always save my robots that I cut out as renders, and so now I'm going to go ahead and put it on my backdrop for my live stream, and that's the great thing about it. So now we're just going to go ahead and organize it and set it up. And that's pretty much it. You just go ahead and put it out, put it in there how you want. But now you have a robot you can place, or a weapon you can place how you want in your backdrop, and then you're ready to go. And I think it just gives you, it looks a lot better. It looks a lot better. You can let me know in your comments, but I know it looks a lot better because you have a clean image. You post it. You can set up your whole backdrop the way you want. So you can have this exact same robot, but yours could look totally different than my thumbnail. Okay, and that's what we're creating right now, and that's about it. Put in a new Falcon, and that's it. So hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helps you. You know, like I say, I don't have a lot of mobile apps that I, you know, because I work on a PC as well. Mainly, I use an emulator for my mobile, but I was doing a couple of things on mobile. But if you're just mobiled out, most of the stuff you can probably do on a mobile at this point, because things are geared that direction these days. So that's about it. This is the Ghost. You got questions, hit me up in the comments. Hope you enjoyed this video. Like this video, definitely hit that like button. Want to see more videos like this, subscribe, bell notification so you don't miss the next video. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment if you enjoyed this video, and as always, choose like over death.